What's up, guys? Sethona here on the Daily Grind. This is DC Legends, and I forgot to record again. And I'm at the last notes for the new Black Lightning event. And as always, everybody decides to come sell stuff near my house when I start recording. Anyways, this is the team I put together for this event. So far, I haven't had trouble. I don't think that reducing the gear for this team will make it any more difficult. It has good defense. It's missing a healer, but since most of the enemies are going to be energy or have been energy so far, no mystic enemies uh, up until node 20 something in this event, I don't think I'm going to have trouble. And at any rate, if Firestorm fails me for some reason, he's only gear 8, I can always switch him for Soth. And I will have a full gear 11 team for the last couple of nodes. Like I mentioned, this so far hasn't been trouble at all. It has shields up the wazoo, super defense thanks to the extra agiops from Clayface, and granted, any event that lets me play with Firestorm personally is a good event in my eyes. Firestorm hasn't gotten enough love. You have to be careful. Black Lightning tends to stun your guys even from the early nodes. That 35% works 100% of the time, all the time, every time. So you are most likely than not end up stunned. So you get rid of the trash first, just so you don't get extra attacks, and as you can see, you can build up a pretty decent amount of shields, and the enemies don't look that dangerous. The past event was way more difficult at this point. And it helps that Firestorm, if you have him built up, even if you don't have him legendary, he has a pretty decent basic attack. So I'm going to go to the map just to show you where I am. This is node 19 so far. So this is the last leg, the last stretch. I did buy energy. I always buy at least one energy pack just so I don't have to wait for energy regeneration. I don't intend to level up any characters this month. So maybe for March. I'm just going to see how much gold I can stash after working on my characters, which is something that I advise. Work on your characters first. Even if you decide, I don't agree with that notion, but if you decide to park your team at gear whatever that is under 10, that's your prerogative as a player. And this game allows you to thrive with underdeveloped tunes. It's even easier than if you try to max out your tunes. I'm starting to suspect that they stealth buffed Ocean Master because I'm seeing damage that even on PvE he wasn't very good, and he's one-shotting a lot of characters. This is the deep end of the event, and he is doing fantastic damage. I suspect that they stealth buffed him something, or they fixed something that was broken. I always suspected that he had broken multipliers for his moves. Anyways, even if you decide to stay low on the gear and underdevelop your characters, you should save gold for when you decide to do the jump to gear 11, because the game is very different at gear 10 and gear 11. Whatever applied to your tunes and how you felt them at gear 8, gear 9, that's pretty cool and all. They're usable. I can give you that. The tunes at that stage are usable, but that's not the definitive form of many of them. So after you build your core 12 tunes, and everybody, and I endorse that recommendation fully, 4 of each affinity. Once you have those, for mystical, for physical, and for energy, you can then decide to just park wherever you feel like it. And that way you will have enough tunes. Hopefully, you will also divide your tunes so out of those 12, you have at least a minimum of 4 heroes or 4 villains just to finish. I crap. I did something out of order. Well, anyways, this is shield and this guy. So yeah, I have reduced my time playing DC Legends a lot. I'm not entertained anymore, and that's something that a game should have. Um, I started playing the Command and Conquer Rivals and the Knights of the Zodiac game that I posted on the forums, and I'm also working overtime on my DC Unchained tunes, and it's way more fulfilling over there. It's super grindy, I can tell you that. Somebody asked me if the game had improved in some sense. Well, yes, it has improved in combat. Combat is super awesome. The PvP is super cool over at DC Unchained, but it's not a game that you can just jump into, spend $200 and start dominating the board, because it's very, very grindy. And you don't actually see what the character is going to be like until you have your Valoriums, your gears, at least to legendary level. And you have to move stuff around, check your passive, your active skills, and a lot of stuff before you can actually tell if a character is, as I hate that term, that terminology, to see if a character is worth it of your time or the resources. Fortunately, I don't know if that was there in the beginning, but they added, or I just discovered, that you can chicken out and at least recover your skill ups. Not your experience, not the time, and not certain upgrade items, but you can get all your cards back if you don't like a character. So at least you can, and from the special gears, you can always get your, at one time, just one time, you can get your resources back, not the money, just the items. And well, that's a cheap way of knowing if a character is worth it or not. And you always have a tryout. Over there in DC Unchained, there is a tryout. They let you play around with the character at full level and max the skills. No Valoriums, but at least the skills. You are able to see what the tune plays like. And that's something that I appreciate a lot in games. So I'm gonna keep making content for this, just not as in depth as before, maybe. Like these monthly events, I'm just going to cover the last two nodes, the last two boss nodes, like this time. Also because that makes the videos way shorter. So there's that, and perhaps some PvP if the tune interests me, just so you see. But since I'm a free player over here on DC Legends, I haven't invested a single dollar in this game, um, and I stay that way now out of principle, just so I can narrate what it's like to be a free player in DC Legends. I simply cannot invest money, but I invest money in games, a reasonable amount. Usually, what a PSP or whatever portable Nintendo has out at the time, what a new game costs, that's my limit for spending. If any game needs more than that, then I'm better off buying a PC game on discount or a portable game. So we're almost finished. Three more notes. Doesn't look like this is a very difficult event at all. And I'm not familiar with Black Lightning. Um, if you all recall, I live in Mexico. I'm Mexican, so we don't have that much of um, uh, how would you put it? There is not much investment here on whether a character is black, Latino, gringo, European, Japanese, or whatever. We tend, comic book fans over here, just appreciate the characters for whatever they bring to the table. And I'm not really familiar with Black Lightning. Uh, I think that he is the serious version of Black Vulcan from the Super Friends. So I really can't speak of how well represented he is in the game, unlike other guys. Like Firestorm uh, is very cool. Is a very decent representation of what the character is, even though he is not the original Firestorm. It's one of the recent versions where, again, in the name of diversity, they made him black, or one of the parts of Firestorm is a black dude. The What I liked about that is now that they changed the dynamic of the character in recent years. Like originally, Firestorm wasn't able to affect organic matter because Raymond, the guy who gives the body to the Firestorm, doesn't know the chemical structure for organic matter, so he is unable to transform organics. And in the end, it turns out that it's not a limitation of his powers, but a limitation in knowledge, even though he has a professor, a college professor, as the other side of the Firestorm. Uh, it's a nuclear physics professor, so even though he would be familiar with some chemistry, well, he's not an expert in chemistry, so that's what limits them. And now the black guy that gives the body to the Firestorm is a chemical major, so he's able to affect organic matter, and that was pretty cool. That's something that I don't like in American comics, that they tend to drag on, and they have a tendency to not really give way to new generations. Like um, Well, this is an argument fans of either side have had for years. What is better, Japanese manga or American comic books? And everybody tends to forget that in Europe they also do comic books, just not superhero comic books, not as the main themes. They tend to be more like soap operas or talk about mythical events and things that get very political very, very fast. Like, for example, AD 2000, that's the anthology magazine that publishes the Judge Dredd stories. It's a science fiction anthology magazine for the most part. But Judge Dredd, even though it has action, it's pretty much a deconstruction, apologetic showcase of totalitarianism and fascism, and it's really, really weird. It's cool, but it's really, really weird. And then there's the other part where they don't have this hang up about doing stuff for adults, and a lot of comics in Europe, well, are borderline pornographic, like the Druna series and Little Ego, and there was this other guy that does a lot of stuff. He's primarily an illustrator, Milo Manara. I've read several stories that he drew. One of them it's about the Borgia family. Borgia family. I don't know how to say that in English. Um, and it's very graphic. It's very, very sexual. So yeah, there's European comics, and the debate: what's better, American comics or Japanese manga? And I like both. And what I like about Japanese authors and Japanese stories is that they have definite end. When an author in Japan starts a comic book series, a manga series, he knows that at some point in time it will end. Even though they have really long serials, for example, Oh My Goddess lasts forever, even though it's cool most of the time. The Akira manga is super, super long. There's Knights of the Zodiac, who that also lasted for quite a long time. Dragon Ball, Samurai X, as it's known in the United States. Even Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon also lasted a very long time. There's a sports manga. I think that's the biggest difference between Japanese comics and American comics. Japanese comics are more like trade paperbacks or compilations. You can count that the story, even if it is successful, it's going to end at one point in time. And then the other is that aside from superheroes, which they don't really do because they separate their comics by genre, like some of it is focused for young kids, young male kids, young male what's the word for female kids, girls, for young boys, young girls, and young male teenagers and young female teenagers, and young men, young women, and for men, for women, and you start going every which way. You can have, for example, action adventure. Um, Dragon Ball started as a story parody science fiction fairy tale with some martial arts. And then it switched midway to full on action martial arts for young men. Whereas Sailor Moon started as a romance, fantasy romance for young girls and then for young women. And then you have like Captain Tsubasa, it's a soccer manga about the football that everybody else but the Americans and some Australians play. That's sports. That was sports for young boys, and now it's soccer for everybody who has been a fan, and that thing has been going on for 20 plus years. It's amazing. It even inspired some of the current players in major football league all over the world to become players, just so you get a taste of how much power that thing has. But superheroes are an entirely American thing. They have the monopoly on superheroes, and pretty much every comic in the mainstream market in the United States is about superheroes. So, as a medium, not all comics are what is now pretentiously called sequential art. Is starting to imitate manga and European comics, and if you go look online for web comics that are made in America, they are starting. Others for the past 2 decades have started working on building stories that can be read, that have a beginning and an end. I recall one that was very, very cool that lasted a long time. It was. Oh, oh god. The Devil's Panties or something like that. 12 pesitos, tamales. Tamales de masa, yes. They always come. I hate it because it makes my channel look so unprofessional, but this is something I love about my country, that you are food is brought to your house, like whether you want it or not. It's just in case that you have cravings for something mid-afternoon or and whatnot. They will come sell. That's the tamales guy. Then there's the corn in a cup. There's stuff for everybody. Nobody has decided to start a taco door to door, but once they do that, I'm gonna become hooked on that. So back to comics. Web comics in the United States have started to become more varied in their themes, and that's something very, very cool. There is the nerd soap opera that is called Girl Genius. If you haven't tried that, it's almost 18 years of backlog that you are going to have to read, but it's super super funny. I don't like their art really. It's by some guy called Phil Foglio, who used to do borderline pornographic comics in the United States. Yeah, cool. But he decided to go solo, and now he's very successful. And the writing is very cool. The art I don't like for Girl Genius. There was this Transformers centered webcomic short pack. Well, it was mostly, supposedly, it was about toys and a guy working at a toy store, but it was mostly about Transformers. And then it kind of went downhill for me because it started to be about how gay can you be, and everybody was gay or bisexual, and then there was a sentient robot car from the future that got its conscience transferred to the female teenage body, cybernetic body. It was very weird, but it was out there. At least it wasn't about superheroes, and there's a lot of stuff to do. So which one is better? I think all of them, all the comics are cool. You may like some. Oh, goodbye, Farstorm. You may like some more than the others, um, like Marvel or DC. Both are very good. Both have made boneheaded stories over the years, like that guy that cannot move on and wanted Spider-Man to be single again after being married for over 30 years in the comics, arguing that single men are more interesting than married men. Fuck Joe Quesada, seriously, fuck him. He's a very good artist, but he sucks as an editor in chief. And I think I'm going to fail this node because I have no strategy for it. I have nobody, no one in my team does enough damage. I should have brought. I should have brought the Star Sapphire. Yeah, because Orm Orm hits like a wet noodle. I also hate that expression, but no, Orm hits like a wet noodle. Like, watch, no damage at all. And this is not difficult, you just have to, yeah, I'm gonna go back. Fuck this. So Firestorm needs to be higher in gear. And even though it's only been 8 or 7 nodes, it still took a lot. Strength is not going to do anything here. Strength downs are not going to work. Well, there is... Oh, there's no Star Sapphire? I thought she was listed. Well. This one... And yeah, pretty much everybody is... I wish I had worked on my Solomon Grundy. Grundy is going to... Grundy is going to be a real boon in this event. Like, the more he gets hit... Well, let's try, and even if I don't do... If I can complete this today, I don't care, I'm going to do that tomorrow after working on some of my blues. Yeah. Shut up. Yeah. So, strength up shenanigans for everybody. and meter control and more strand ups. Like this. And bleeds, and hopefully I will call an assist. That wasn't an assist. And protection through Superman. Now my Cheetah is gear 9 and my Wonder Woman, that was the counter. That was her upgraded passive. And my Wonder Woman is gear 10, legendary 2. I haven't bothered to upgrade her. And I think someone's at the door, so I will have to pause this. So I'll be. Let's see. Okay, there. I'll be right back. And I'm back. Okay, where were we? Ah, yeah. Let's try to get those assists. That's not an assist. Strand ups. Assist. This fight is going to be a drag out. So let's start spreading bleeds here and there. And yeah, more strength ups. We need damage potential. Wow, these guys, like, this is not difficult, they just have a ton of HP. But that's what bleeds are for. That was an assist. Well, let's protect Cheetah, because Cheetah can't stand getting hit. More food. But I'm on a diet, man. I don't want food. That's a corn in a cup guy. Have you any of you have tried corn in a cup? Well, it's not super tasty, but at least it's nutritious. Not as bad as other garbage food. Jesus Christ, these guys have all the HP in the world. That was an assist. So now more shields and more speed. And let's make everybody focus on Superman. Ah, yeah, this guy has... Well, that's a sizable chunk of energy that Black Lightning gives to teammates. So if you were thinking about what to upgrade, that skill looks cool. Because really you have to kill them before their turn is up, or they get a ton of HP back. Yeah, this guy gives a lot of sustain. So you know what? Focus fire then. And everybody has shields, so meter down. I don't want them taking turns until they are about to die. Yeah, like that's a lot of HP that passive recovers. So yeah, bleeds first. Alright, so now let's focus on... Maybe I should have done this from the very beginning, but at least that allowed me to see how these guys works. Superman got stunned. That's very infuriating. Yeah, no. No, they didn't buff Ocean Master. He's still crappy. Like, Jesus Christ. Look at all those intops. Let's see what they do for you. Now you're alone. Alone and naked in this world. Like, I don't even remember what I was talking about before pausing the recording. So if any of you remember, tell me on the comments. Because I completely lost my train of thought there. Only thing I remember is I don't really know who Black Lightning is. I think he's related to Static Shock. So in that uniform he kind of looks like Mr. Terrific. And what ifs? So let us see what Black Lightning looks like in Legendary. Because I haven't even checked what the hell is going on this month. I'm more worried about how am I going to get Poseidon shards for the Knights of the Zodiac. And my cat wants in, but fuck him. Let's go Legendary, guys. Oh wow. Pretty much nothing changed. Well, but that's cool. I don't know what the design team... Why the design team has a hard-on for cyborg looking dudes. Everybody has armor. Tactical armor. Yeah, this guy hates the gym, alright. And he doesn't skip leg day. Because he is built. Like, come on guys. Come on devs. And what am I going to upgrade? 25, blah, blah. To a stun, yeah, that one's pretty cool. Reduce cooldown of supercharge. What the supercharge does. Heavy overheal and purge debuffs. Okay, alright. Apply an overheal. Double damage. Apply light overheal for each buff purged. I'm not going to go L5. I never tried to go L5 for the monthly tune. But this is just dependent on your team getting its ass kicked. So I'm gonna leave this one for last. Double damage if Black Lightning is overhealed. Or perhaps this one is going to be the one that I'm not gonna do. I'm gonna go with this one for first. Just because I like to go against the flow. And pretty crappy chance, at least a 30. Give me 30. Yes. So it's gonna end up at 35%. And this is chance 75. So it's gonna be 100%, I believe. 2, 4, 7, 11, 15, 25. Yeah, it's 100% at maximum. So you know what? This is the one that I'm not going to upgrade. Unless Supercharge ends up having a really long cooldown. And I don't even know if I'm going to take this guy to Gear 11. I have so many green Gear 11 characters. And by so many, it's like 5, and I already feel like it's too much. Especially in this Wonder Girl dominated era. So let's take him for a ride. And he is gear 3, so this should suffice for a test. And I'm gonna give him crappy teammates just to see. Really crappy teammates. Like all the crappy teammates in the world. Oh wow, he's low. And this guy also stuns. And they are all super crappy. And yet I cannot make a video that lasts only 20 minutes. We are breaking the 3/4 of an hour now. So let's just see. I don't give a damn about PvP anymore in this game. Like, talk to me again when it's not about who spends the more gold. And if you want to, leave a comment if you want to see what live PvP, because it's possible. It's possible. And on a turn-based combat game. Alright, so let's see. I want to give everybody an overheal. Yes. And then stun this girl. Oh, she died. Interesting. Okay, let's see damage on the basic. Nothing. Nothing to write home about at this gear. Maybe these guys aren't as crappy as... See, that cooldown reduction is not going to be very helpful. Cooldown of 2, this doesn't take long if you pair him with Cancer Girl, Donna Troy. This one has a long cooldown of 3. Watch. Like, yeah, cooldown of 2. Double damage. Yeah, that cooldown is not going to be making or breaking this character. Like, if you pair him with Batman Detective and Cancer Girl Donna, that's even faster cooldown reductions, and they stack. Look, I can already overheal again. So yeah, that's not it. That's the one I'm not going to upgrade. So let's try. Let's go ham, and I'm just going to switch this because he doesn't have a leader skill, so it makes no sense that he goes as leader. And let's go like this with Cancer Girl. And Etrigan likes to be overhealed too. Where is he? Here we see. Well, in fact, I need somebody to start feeding buffs. No, yeah, let's go with Etrigan. This is a nice low. It's underpowered for this, but I want to see how he works with overheals. Because I was planning on working on Enchantress, and I want to know if they play well with each other. And oh my god, this is the same thing every month. Download all the pictures again, download all the characters that weren't reworked, that weren't modified. Ugh. Like it's been going on for long enough. It's been 2 years. Like, come on, guys, fix that already. And you. And a death, and off to the races we go. Now this should trigger, yes. Awesome. And then Let's try this. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. You can leave 5 in Black Lightning for another age. If you're going to be L4, leave that for last. You can try something else. For his first upgrade, but if you're going to go L4 on him, it makes no difference what you choose first. Just leave 5 out. And you. Etrigan is a monster. Look! Oh my god, he's only gear 8. And now he got all his damage back. And oh my god. Can she trigger herself? No. This is stupid. And more awareness. Oh my god. Cancer girls, just cancer. They're completely newbie friendly. She's great. Or lower, I believe. Oh my god. Goodbye, Necron. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna gear this guy. Eventually. For the next event. And let's recoup some of the money and let's call it a day. That was the event. That was Black Lightning in action. I have to gear him. Etrigan and Cancer Girl are stupid. And I'm going to gear up Enchantress. I'm pretty sure they're going to go well together. This is earn points with these heroes on PvP. Alright. Yeah, what's in the shop? Penguin and Medfield. And let's download all the icons again. Oh god. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video and listening to me rant about stupid things. I'm liking the character. I'm liking this character a lot. He looks like fun. But I'm going to test him at gear 10 first. And then let's see how he holds up on PvP. But good lord. Oh my Chrome. It's this guy. So, look, I already had these graphics. This game, I swear. So, I will go with this supercharge, upgrade supercharge first. And then like 2, 1, 3, 4, and leave 5 out. Because this one is also very situational. If you don't get hit, then he doesn't stun the enemy, and you need to stun the enemy to get the 4 intops. But that's cool when it happens. That's cool. So I will have to try this on a stun team, like with Killer Frost and Hot Girl, to see how it works out. But yeah, don't go with 4 first. Go with 2, 2 and 1, and then 3. Because this one is even worse. Your guys have to be below 50% HP. And if they go below 50% HP, then you get a reduced cooldown on an ability that already has the fast cooldown. Makes no sense. So, whatever. That's all for today, guys. I thank you greatly for your time. Leave a comment, leave a like if you like. If you don't like, don't leave a like. So, we'll see each other next time. And until then, in the meantime, keep grinding on.